Chapel men. Man, I just want to take a second and just stand here and just soak this in. Holy cow. Look at this. Isn't it awesome? Please sit down. Please sit down. Isn't it awesome to be in a church that does men's night? Come on. A church that knows that men are different from women. A church that knows that men cannot become women. That's the kind of church you're in. Yeah. I'm going to say a lot of stuff like that tonight, and there's a safe space in the children's room with crayons. We'll set you up so that this doesn't bother you. Thank you, Pastor Brandon. I was so honored that you asked me to speak here tonight, and holy smokes, this is incredible. I don't know about what's going on in the rest of this country, but you can feel, you can see that God is on the move in Midlothian, Virginia. Like, this is crazy. This is insane. I don't know about other states and other cities, but the church is growing in Midlothian, Virginia. The church is growing in RVA. And a very big part of that reason is the chapel. That's a part of that formula right there. There's no denying it. There's no denying that this church is on the move, on the growth. And a huge part about what's going on in this community, in this town, is directly the result of Pastor Brandon, Pastor Joel, Pastor Jason. There is absolutely no way you can see what's happening in this city and deny the impact that the chapel is having on this. And as Pastor Brandon mentioned, another part of the impact going on here is this organization called Men's Alliance. And Pastor Brandon and I, we started in January having coffee together every month. And he said this first, so I'm stealing this from him. Satan hates it when we're partnering up. Satan can't stand it when Men's Alliance and the chapel are partnered together because we are absolutely changing lives. And so we're going to just absolutely keep doing that as much as we can. So Men's Alliance is now, I mean, when I checked last, we were partnered with 93 churches in 22 states, and we got 100 and some tribes that meet every week. We got about 2,300 men that meet every single week in small groups around the country for an outdoor workout and a devotion around a fire. It's a formula so simple, only a man could come up with it. And it's what we're all hungry for, right? It's what every single one of us wants. I started this just because it's what I needed in my life. I was like, man, I want to be in a church small group where nobody pretends that they're fine, where nobody pretends that they read the chapter that week, where dudes are just sitting around. You know what? It should be outside. We should have a fire. I want to sit outside around a fire with some dudes and be like, guys, I'm struggling with pornography. Guys, I'm struggling with alcohol. Guys, my wife is leaving me. I want to be able to talk about the real stuff that we're all pretending we're not struggling with. So that's how it got started. And then I was like, well, we should probably do a workout first too, because we all need that. And, so that's how it got started. But while we've grown and while we've got all these tribes and partner churches, right here, the chapel, Midlothian campus, this is the flagship of Men's Alliance, right? And we would never have grown to what we are today as a ministry without the chapel. So I need to recognize that, and it's been tremendous partnering with the chapel. So almost 2 years ago, I quit my day job to become a missionary to men in America. Best decision I ever made. Now I wake up every day excited to see what's on my calendar Can't wait to see what I'm doing this day. You know, I'm having conversations with men. I'm having conversations with pastors, having lunch with this pastor, coffee with this guy. And we're just talking every day about becoming better husbands, better fathers, better spiritual leaders in our homes, and how we can reach out and reach more men. So that's a little about me, and that's what I'm doing. Okay, one of the most important questions I have to ask. Who loves a good sports movie motivational speech? Okay, all right. I can tell a lot about a guy by his favorite sports movie motivational speech. All right, so you guys just shout out some of your favorites. Rudy, Rocky, what'd you say? Remember the Titans? Coach Carter? Miracle. All right. Man, you guys are like hitting all my favorites right there. I'm a huge Rocky fan. Like in the Mills house, we have the Bible and we have all the Rocky movies. And those are two important things in the Mills house. And who knows the name? We're going to see who the old people are. Who's the guy on the right? That's Mickey, right? He's like, get up, Rocky, because Mickey loves you. Man, and just like you hear that in the movie, and you just feel like you could just run through a wall, right? And then one of my favorite Rocky motivational speech lines is when he's talking to his son, and he says, it's not how hard you can hit that matters, it's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Man, if you can even watch that scene in the movie sitting down, there's something wrong with you. All right, let's see what else we got up there. Show me the second one. Any Given Sunday. Oh my goodness. When Al Pacino is saying, you got to claw with your fingernails for that inch, right? Oh man, it's so good. It pumps you up. And I got to say right here is probably a good time to announce this. None of these movies are officially endorsed by the Chapel or Men's Alliance. But if you would like to watch any of these movies I'm talking about, PureFlix is a great place to watch all these movies. All right, Any Given Sunday, Al Pacino. What's next? What do we got? There you go. There's Remember the Titans, right? I love the scene where they go for the run to Gettysburg, right? And they come out from that run, and they're on the graveyard on the battlefield. What a powerful scene. All right, I think I got one more. You got one more? All right, this is like a sleeper film that you can only watch on PureFlix. It's called Bleed for This, and it's a true story. I think it's Jersey, right? We were talking about Jersey earlier. Where's my Jersey guys? Vinny Pazienzo, right? And this one has a line in it, and he's in the corner, and he's losing. And he's about to go back out there for the last round, and his coach says, go out there and show them who you are. Oh, man, right? So I love a good sports movie and a good motivational speech. And as I was thinking about this night and as I was planning about what to talk about, it just hit me that this right here, we're in the locker room tonight. This is the locker room because guess what? American men are losing. We are down 2 touchdowns. It's halftime, and we're in the locker room tonight. I hope to not just encourage you, but to actually give you some practical tips to help you when you walk out this locker room door tonight. When you go back onto the playing field, your country needs you, your family needs you to walk out these doors and bring it, all right? And so that's what we're here tonight to talk about. Important question. If you're a leader in this room tonight, if you consider yourself a leader, if you think of yourself as a leader, please stand up. If you're a leader, stand up tonight. That's a tough question, isn't it? That's a tough question. We don't feel qualified to stand up. I don't feel qualified to be up here tonight talking to you. I've got so many sins in my past. I have fallen so hard. I have messed up so much. Satan tells me, who do you think you are going up there to talk? Just sit down and let somebody more qualified do this. And I know he whispers the exact same thing to each of you. He whispers to you saying, sit down, you're not a leader, you've messed up too much. And as men, one of the most important things we can do in our lives is reject that message and stand up anyway. You guys can be seated. Thank you. Every one of us is a leader. You are not a leader based on whether you feel like it or not. You are not a leader based on your public speaking ability or your title. You are a leader by your design. You are a leader by design. God designed you to be a leader. Let that sink in. You are a leader. It's not a matter of am I a leader, it's just a matter of am I going to own my role. That's Tony Evans' words. Tony Evans says men are leaders because God designed them to be that way. The only question is, are we going to own that role? Ephesians 5:23. It says that the man is the head of the woman. How popular is that verse today? No, that one's not super popular. That's not super popular right now. Why not? It's a Bible verse. It's in the Bible. I'm not making this stuff up. This isn't a Dave Mills message. I'm just telling you what the Bible says. It says that the man is the head. So basically, man is synonymous with leader. Man equals leader. We don't hear this message in our culture. They don't want you to hear this message. They want to tell you to sit down and keep your mouth shut and go sit on the sideline and in a lazy boy and order some DoorDash and just be comfortable over there and keep your mouth shut, okay? Don't try to lead anybody spiritually. You're not qualified. That's what our culture is saying. They're pushing it down our throat constantly. All right. So, I'm going to give you guys a couple of leadership lessons for you to walk out this door with. All right? And we're going to use the mnemonic heads because you are the heads of your house as men. So, we're going to start off with the first one is H. Lead with humility. Lead with humility. This is the most important one. This is the secret. This is the secret weapon. If you take away one of these tonight, remember this one. This is the way you lead after failure. This is the way you lead when your wife knows how badly you've screwed up. And now you're supposed to lead her spiritually? Come on, how hard is that? How hard is it to lead your kids spiritually when you just lost your temper with your son and may have hypothetically smashed his Xbox controllers? I don't know if that happens to fit anybody here tonight. Maybe you smashed all his electronics in a fit of rage, and then you felt bad about it, and then you realized you're supposed to lead your family spiritually. This is the secret. Humility. How many of you, raise your hand if you've been in the military? Have you ever served in the military? That's a lot. All right. Raise your hand. Everybody that's been in the military, we love to raise our hand for that. Nobody likes this one. Raise your hand if you were an officer. That took courage. Congratulations. That was a lot more of you than I thought. I was an officer in the Air Force, so I'm in the same group with you guys. I feel it. The military does this crazy thing, right? They take a brand new officer, first day on the job as an officer, you're a second lieutenant, brand new, and they put you in charge of men who have been doing this job for 20 years. And it's day one, go lead them, okay? I was very fortunate that when I was a second lieutenant, I had this tech sergeant that really helped me out. He gave me tons of great advice, and he set me on the right track. And the way that a second lieutenant should lead a master sergeant is the exact same way that a man should lead his family spiritually. So hang with this illustration. All right? First, I'm going to tell you how not to do it. Here's how not to do it. Hey, everybody, I'm the lieutenant. I'm in charge here. Everybody needs to do what I tell you to do. Okay, oh my gosh, you have just ruined yourself forever. They are going to never help you. They're going to keep their mouth shut while you fail, and they are going to secretly love watching it happen. Everybody that laughed right there was enlisted. All right, here's how you lead somebody that's better at the job than you, knows more than you, older than you, and has more experience. Here's how you lead that guy. Are you ready? You say, hey, Sergeant, you've been doing this a lot longer than me, and you know a lot more than me. They've put me in charge of you. I need you to help me out. I need you to bring me up to speed and tell me the stuff that you know. And my job here is going to be to get you whatever you need to do your job. My job is to take care of you. So anything you need, if you need more people, if you need resources, if you need more training, you come to me and I am going to go to bat for you, and I'm going to do everything I can to take care of you. I'm here for you. That's how you lead somebody that's better than you. And that's how to lead your family spiritually. You go to your family, guys. You go to your family and you say, listen, you guys all know about my failures. You guys all know that I've got a problem with my temper. You know that I'm not perfect. But I just got done reading something incredible in the Bible that I just want to share with you guys because it just impacted me. Would you guys just let me share this with you for 2 minutes? Yes, that's how you lead your family spiritually. You see that? It's not as scary as it sounds, because when we use the phrase lead your family spiritually, that sounds scary. That sounds like, what? I don't know about this. But then when you hear, like, here's what that sounds like, it demystifies it. You're like, okay, I can do that. Right? Hey, guys, listen, you know I'm not perfect. You know I've failed so much. But can I just lead us in prayer? Yes. That's all it takes. You just share something you've read in the Word of God, and then you pray. That's it. You share the Word of God, and you pray. That's what leading spiritually looks like. And if you do it from a place of humility, people will listen to you. People will listen to you. If you come in from a place of superiority, people can smell it, and you get about 3 words out of your mouth, and they're done listening to you. So it's very simple to lead your family spiritually. Own your mistakes. Admit your faults. Satan wants you proud, so you lead with humility. Second one, the E is lead by example. Lead by example. Titus 2:7 In everything, set them an example by doing what is good. In everything, set them the example. Listen, you cannot lead your family to a place you have never been yourself. You cannot lead your family to a place that you have never been yourself. Now, you can lead by being only one step ahead, right? You can be one step ahead, and you can just lead them to that next step, okay? You don't need to be spiritually on the mountaintop to lead, but you got to be on the move in the correct direction, one step ahead in order to lead, because you can't lead to a place that you have never been. Right. In my house, my wife plays the piano. She can lead our kids to play the piano. I cannot. I cannot lead anybody in playing the piano because I have never been there myself, right? So think about this. If we're going to lead spiritually, we got to get there ourselves. I had this image come in to my mind as I was thinking about this, about a power strip, right? A power strip that's just laying on the floor, not plugged into the wall. That thing is useless. And that's a lot of men trying to tell their families to plug into them, right? Come on, guys, I want to lead you guys spiritually. Plug on into me. And the whole family's like, we can all see you're not plugged in to the source, right? You're not even connected to the source of power. Why would we connect to you, right? So men, if you want your kids to pray, they've got to see you pray. If you want your kids to read the Bible, they have to see you reading the Bible, which, by the way, this is a good plug for actually having a paper copy of the Bible in your house. You might be reading it on your iPad, but your kid doesn't know that you're not, playing Angry Birds. So get a real Bible and let your family see you reading it. Set the example. Lead by example. Right. To use another military example, the way you lead by example is not by saying, hey, men, I want you to go take that hill. That's not a leader. A leader says, hey, men, I'm going to go take that hill. Y'all follow me. That's what leadership by example looks and sounds like. So again, you don't have to be perfect. You're doing this with humility. You're saying, hey, I'm not perfect, but I'm going to try to read through the book of John this month. Who's with me? Who wants to join me, right? These are simple ways. Hey, guys, I'm not perfect, but I'm going to read a short devotion and pray every morning. I would love for y'all to join me. And then it doesn't matter if they join you or not. You do it. You do it, and you set the example. Amen, bro. By the way, this one, leading by example, this is also important for our mental health as men. When we plug in to the source, this will help us in our battles against things like anxiety, depression, addiction, because this is the source of the power. Things like, I'm about to say words that no guy likes: patience, kindness, gentleness, love. These are the things that we are supposed to put on in order to be the men that our family needs us to be. And none of these things come naturally to me. None of these things come naturally to me. My wife made me, a few years ago, she made me write down all of these things on the bathroom mirror. Every morning I had to see patience, gentleness, kindness, and gentleness was always the worst one. But I'm telling you what, we get that stuff by plugging into its source. You're not going to get that stuff just by trying hard to be gentle and patient. That doesn't work. You've got to get to the source of kindness, patience, gentleness, love. You plug yourself into that source. Not only is it good leadership, but it's good for you. All right? Let's go to the next one. The A is avoid isolation. Avoid isolation. You know that everything awesome that's been done has been done by a group. It's been done by a tribe or a platoon or a posse or a team or a squad. It's always done by the group. The Lone Ranger didn't exist. That's a myth. If you're going to accomplish anything, you have to surround yourself by like-minded Christian warriors who are headed in the same direction as you. You can't sustain yourself by only hanging out with golf buddies that you work with. Right. That doesn't count. You can't sustain yourself by just hanging out with having a beer with your neighbors. That's not going to sustain you. That might be good outreach to them, but that can't be your source, right? We have to, as men, we have to surround ourselves. Have to. It's not optional. And if you're like thinking, well, I kind of prefer to be by myself, I'm kind of a loner, I'm just letting you know you're wrong, okay? Yeah, you can survive that way. You can still breathe and sleep and eat and get dressed and get here, right? But you're not thriving like that. You're just surviving, okay? So to really take your life to the level that God designed you to live at, you have to surround yourself with a tribe of like-minded Christian men. Men who sharpen you. There need to be some men in that group that are a little smarter than you, a little older than you, a little bit closer to God in their walk than you. You've got to surround yourself not only by men that you are pulling up, but by men who are pulling you up as well. Yes, sir. 1 Peter 5:8 says that our enemy, Satan, is prowling around like a hungry lion looking for people to devour. And I've heard Pastor Brandon say this. I've heard Pastor Joel say this. I've seen it on the small group video. I've said it. We cannot say this enough. Lions hunt the animals who get too far from the pack. They don't charge into a pack of healthy animals. Man, you know that's why zebras have stripes, right? It's so they all look like one big massive thing when they're all together. You can't even distinguish one from the other, right? But when that dumb one gets too far away from the pack, because he's thinking, I'm good. I'm kind of a loner. I'm kind of independent, you know. He's thinking that thought too right before he goes down. So avoid isolation. Leaders need encouragement. Encouragement is our fuel, right? So as you take these steps of humility and plugging yourself into the source to lead by example, you're going to need the encouragement of men who are on the same journey as you. Avoid isolation. Satan wants you isolated, so you've got to plug into a tribe. Satan wants you full of pride, you're going to be humble. He wants you to be on the sideline, you're going to lead by example. Our last one, our second to last one, we're on the D. Don't try to be liked. This is one of the most important leadership lessons that I have ever learned in my career. You know, a leader, somebody think in your mind right now, think of a leader from television, a TV character leader who tries to be liked. I've heard it whispered. I just heard it whispered. Michael Scott. Everybody, he's in every single aspect. He's the textbook worst leader imaginable because He always wants everybody to like him. He wants to be everybody's buddy. And here's the thing. If you make it your goal for your kids to like you, you are guaranteed to be a terrible spiritual leader in that house, okay? You just can't worry about that. Some days they're going to like you. Some days they're going to not like you. Might correlate to Xbox controllers. John 15:18 says, if the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. That is why the world hates you. Think about that right now when it comes to what's happening in our society and your social media post. Think about that with what Jesus says and how you speak to your neighbors. Think about what Jesus said and how you speak to your coworkers. Are we trying to be liked? Are we trying to fit into the world? Are we hoping that the world likes us and treats us well? I'm telling you what, men all think that they are a little bit smarter than the average bear. This is just how men are wired. I guarantee you, you're all thinking this, right? I've been there. Men always think that everybody around them is not quite as sharp as they are. And that leads us to think that we will be able to walk the tightrope that nobody else could walk, because everybody else isn't quite as smooth and suave with their words as we are. And we're going to be able to be the cool Christian. And we're going to show the world that Christians aren't all weird. We're going to be that guy. You will fail. The world will chew you up and spit you out, and you will have to make a decision at some point. So why not make the decision early so you don't have regret down the road? Okay? You want to know what it sounds like? What does it sound like to not care about being liked by the world? What does this sound like? It sounds like saying things like marriage is between one man and one woman. It sounds like saying there are only two genders. It sounds like saying things like gender-affirming care for a boy should involve wrestling and teaching him to write his name in the snow. That's what gender-affirming care for a boy is. If you are trying to be liked by the world, you will not say things like, there is no such thing as your truth. There is only the truth. You will not say things like, there are not multiple paths to God. All ways are not equal. All religions are not the same. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and nobody comes to the Father except through me. So Jesus took that option off the table. Not being liked by the world looks like saying abortion is murder. It's intentionally taking the life of an innocent human. And the last time I looked, if you intentionally take the life of an innocent human, that's called murder, okay? And that's unpopular. And I just ticked some of you off. And you don't like me. And I don't care, because I'm not trying to be liked. One of the things that tech sergeant told me was, if you want to be liked, go sell ice cream. He said, if you want to be an officer in the Air Force, you just do what's right. You just always do what's right every single time and don't worry about what people think. Some people will like you, some people will hate you. Who cares? Always do what's right. Think about this when it comes to our football motivational speeches from the beginning. Can you imagine? By the way, we got any football coaches in here? All right. I'm only seeing one. All right, can you imagine having a player on your team who didn't want to get hit? Is that person a good player? No. You can't have a football player be effective on the field if they don't want to get hit. But how many Christian men are afraid of getting hit? We don't want to take any hits. It's like we're playing football and we think we're playing ultimate frisbee. It ain't ultimate frisbee. It's football. You're going to get hit. Don't worry about being liked. I love this quote by Moody. Our greatest fear should not be failure, but rather succeeding at something that doesn't matter. You can live your whole life being liked, being popular, never getting hit, and you will totally succeed at something that doesn't matter. It's like being on the sideline of the game and like playing some silly pickup sticks over on the side, and you win, and you're all excited that you won at pickup sticks on the sideline. You're not even in the game. You're not even aware of the actual competition that's going on around you, right? So as Christian men, we've got to prepare ourselves to come out of the locker room and get hit, and don't worry about what the other team thinks about you. Do not concern yourself with what the purple and green-haired atheists think about you online. It doesn't matter. They're not on our team. My last one, the S. Study your opponent. Study your opponent. How simple does this sound? Didn't we all watch game film for every sport? Don't you study what the team you're about to play on Friday night does? What play do they always run? We would never dream of coaching a team. Hear this. We would never dream of coaching a football team and taking them onto the field on Friday night and having no idea what plays the opponent runs. We would never do that as football coaches, as coaches of any sport. We would study the opponent and we would see what are their 5 top plays that they run every week against every team they play. They're not rocket scientists. They're running the same plays. Prepare and study so that you can go out there and win. But when it comes to the tough questions that the world is going to ask our kids, we're sending them out the door completely unprepared. We have not read the opponent's playbook. And we're sending them into one of the most important conversations they will ever have in their life, and we're saying, good luck, wing it. I'm sure it'll work out okay for you. That's what we do. I have a passion for this topic because I have so many friends whose kids have gone off to state college X and Y and Z and come back and said, I don't believe in God anymore. Well, guess what? The opponent ran the exact same plays against them that they run every single time. I'll tell you, one of the best things I ever did for strengthening my own faith in Christ was reading books written by atheists. When you pick up a book by Christopher Hitchens or Richard Dawkins and you read their books, I'm not kidding you. They're laughable. They're laughable. You're like, this is your A material? This is your best game? Holy smokes, this is the smartest PhD atheist, #1 bestseller? And his big gotcha is, who made God? You're like, seriously? That's a real question? But I'm telling you what, if we don't study and know how to respond and make these conversations commonplace in your house. I have these conversations with my kids when we ride in the truck, when we're eating dinner. I ask them why they're Christians. I ask them, what evidence do they have for the resurrection? I say, you have your truth and I have mine. And Christianity might just be true for you, but it's not true for me. Plus, I think that, all religions are really on journeys up the same mountain. We're all headed to the same God. We just call him by different names. I tell them that I think only science yields truth, and things like religion are just a matter of opinion. I tell them things like they're only a Christian because they were born in America. And if they would have been born in Saudi Arabia, they'd be a Muslim. So they're just products of their environment. I tell them that Jesus never even claimed to be God. He was just a good teacher. I tell them things like, if there was a all-loving, all-powerful God, there wouldn't be suffering and evil in the world. Plus, I tell them that religion is responsible for so many wars and atrocities. I want nothing to do with it anyway. And I work on these instead of stifling the questions and saying, you shouldn't say that, you just need to have faith. I say, bring all your tough questions. And if I don't know the answer, we'll dive into it and find it together. But what I'm not doing is I'm not sending them onto the playing field without reading the opponent's playbook. Listen, guys, our kids are smart. Our kids are taking AP classes. They're studying this, that, and the other thing. They're getting accepted to universities. Don't kid yourself and say they're not into this. They're way into this. That's just what dads who don't want to study say. You've got to lead by example. You've got to know these answers. And by the way, anytime I'm out there and I'm listening to a speaker and they promote their book, I'm like internal eye roll. I'm like, here it goes. They're trying to make money. I'm just telling you this. If you want to get a copy of the book, Answer with Truth, tonight, and you don't want to pay for it, just give me your email address and I will send you the PDF. You will have to print it out and staple it together, but you will get it for free. I don't care about the money. I want you to be prepared to lead your family. So guys, as we wrap this up, I want to remind you, lead with humility, lead by example, avoid isolation, don't try to be liked, and study your opponent. You are the leaders. Being a man is synonymous with being a leader. So own your role. Own your role. It's not humility for the quarterback of the team to say, I'm not really the quarterback. I'm just kind of on the team. Anybody can throw it. No, you want your quarterback to own his role and step onto the field and be the best quarterback he can be. Not this false humility thing that's being encouraged in our culture. Man, if you're not good at something, don't act like you are. But if you're a man, then lead. Own your role and lead. I want to give you guys this quote from the movie Coach Carter, which is actually a paraphrase of a poem by Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is not our darkness that most frightens us. it is our light. We ask ourselves, who am I to be a leader? Who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. Wow, isn't that good? There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. Men, you represent the creator of the universe. You were born to make manifest the glory of God. It is time that we stop acting like beta males. It's time we start leading like the warriors God designed us to be. It's time to stop caring what the other team thinks about us. It's time to throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. It's time to run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus. Our family and our country needs us. Own your role. And as you walk out these doors tonight, walk out onto the playing field and win. Thank you.